That is right. Okay, so what's in the next story here? It looks like an Olemex board that runs Unix. You want to tell us a little bit about what these crazy people have done with these tiny, tiny little
So they took a
machines?
tiny, tiny little machine and run a tiny, tiny little version of BSD on it. So they have
Yeah.
RetroBSD, which is a port of 2.11 BSD. You know, not the
Wow.
like 4.3 BSD that FreeBSD and NetBSD and OpenBSD are based on. Kind of. This is an old version of BSD,
Right, right.
2.11, and currently the target is the microchip PIC32 with
Hmm.
128 kilobytes of RAM and 512
Whopping.
kilobytes of flash. So the
Wow.
PIC32 processor is a MIPS 4K architecture with executable data memory and flexible RAM partitioning between the user and kernel modes.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, this is like super super tiny.
Well, what I particularly thought was interesting about this story was this might be a way where if you want to explore BSD
Mm-hmm.
history and see what like a really early version of BSD looked like, you can actually go get a little one of these boards now and throw RetroBSD on it. It's like stepping back, what is that, 20 years now,
More
15
like
years? I mean,
that. 2.11 is like
that,
the 70s, I think.
oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. So a ways back. Pretty interesting. But it looks like the website lists some of the following features of the 2.11 refresh. So they mentioned that RetroBSD only needs the 128 kilobytes of RAM to be up and running user applications. How cool is
Mm.
that? They have memory protection. Kernel memory is fully protected from user applications using hardware mechanisms. And then they talk a little about their open functionality. Usually, user application is fixed in flash memory, but in the case of RetroBSD, any number of applications can be placed onto the SD card and run as required. And of course, it has multitasking. How cool is
Yeah,
that?
so it looks like 2BSD was released in 1979.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
2.8.1 was 1982.
So sometime
So this is
right
this
after that,
is
I guess.
yeah. This sounds like with 2.9 being 1983. I'm guessing that 2.11 would be about 1984. So that's about when I was born.
Yeah, I was 4 years old
Yeah,
then, to give you an idea. Like,
yeah.
that is
Oh,
crazy. But it
the
take it.
most recent release, 2.11 BSD, was released in 1992. Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
92. Okay, so I was
So I would have
12.
been about
So
six.
interesting,
No,
right?
8.
So I wonder what took so long between the 2.9 and 2.11. That was quite a number of
Yeah,
years
well,
there,
I think it was just a maintenance release. Like, 3
right?
BSD came out in 1970 or 1979, and 4 BSD came out in 1980. So I'm not sure why people kept working at. Well, I guess 2.11 BSD was still PDP 11 only, maybe,
Oh
and
man.
3 BSD is when they started
Well, hey,
going to other hardware.
well, I was gonna say, if you like playing with exotic things, or if running the Raspberry Pi with BSD is just too mainstream for you,
Yeah,
like this may be your new favorite thing.
exactly.
So you may need to check this out and tell us how awesome it is to rock the 2.11 BSD.
Yeah.